Hello friends, every year, more than 32 million cows are processed in the US alone inside huge modern facilities that claim to use high-quality farming methods. But behind the shiny, efficient image, there's a shocking truth the meat industry doesn't want you to see. Is it really humane and caring, or just a massive, brutal assembly line for turning animals into food? Everything begins long before cattle arrive at a processing facility. In the United States, beef production is built on one of the world's largest cattle inventories. With about 86.7 million head of cattle and calves on farms as of early 2025. According to USDA National Agricultural Statistics Service data. Across major cattle states like Texas, Nebraska, and Kansas, animals are raised on open ranches and professionally managed feedlots under established animal care and USDA guidelines. Breeders focus on genetics while nutrition programs balance grain, forage, and clean water to support growth and well-being. Routine monitoring includes tracking weight gain, health records, and vaccinations, ensuring every animal's journey can be traced from the ranch to later stages of production with accountability and consistent quality. After months of careful raising and monitoring on the ranch, attention shifts to the moment when cattle leave familiar ground and enter a carefully managed transportation process. When cattle arrive at a processing facility in the United States, the focus isn't simply bringing them in, it's a controlled transition from transport to stabilization. Each load comes on specialized livestock trailers designed to minimize crowding and heat stress. Industry transport guidelines aim for unloading to begin within about 15 to 60 minutes of arrival to avoid undue stress, with most trucks meeting this standard in practice. At the dock, animals are unloaded into holding pens with secure flooring and shade. Trained staff observe each animal for signs of stress, injury, or mobility issues, following criteria that allow no more than about 2% compromised animals during unloading audits. Those showing concern are separated for further care or observation. This early stage serves as a stress screening and stabilization period, ensuring cattle are calm and monitored before moving into the next phase of processing. At this part of the process, the focus is on consistency and care under established U.S. standards. Large USDA-inspected facilities commonly handle 4,000–5,000 head of cattle per day, with line speeds of 250 to 390 animals per hour under strict management practices. Workers in these plants regularly describe their roles not as chaotic but as rhythmically paced, where trained teams operate calibrated equipment and support each other to keep the workflow steady. Rather than focusing on graphic details, employees emphasize protocols, quality checks, and teamwork. These human and mechanical systems exist to reduce variability and support humane handling in every shift. This is the stage where beef becomes a standardized product. Inside large U.S. facilities, automated conveyor systems work alongside trained American workers, each assigned to a specific task along the line. This division of labor allows carcasses to be broken down into primary cuts within minutes, maintaining consistency across thousands of units each day. Industry data shows that modern beef processing lines can complete over 90% of primary breakdown steps mechanically, with workers focusing on precision trimming and quality control. Sanitation is continuous. Knives are routinely sterilized in high-temperature units, and conveyor surfaces are cleaned throughout each shift to meet USDA inspection requirements. Quality control becomes the priority. Every carcass moves through a post-process inspection system overseen by USDA certified inspectors. The goal is simple: identify irregularities and remove anything that does not meet established standards. Following inspection, beef is graded based on marbling maturity and overall consistency. In the U.S., the familiar categories Prime, Choice, and Select help determine how products are distributed across retail and food service markets. Prime represents only a small share of total production, while Choice accounts for the majority of consumer purchases. What defines this stage is elimination. Quality here is not created by labels or marketing. It is enforced by removing errors, isolating inconsistencies, and allowing only approved products to move forward. Once approved, products enter the final logistical phase. Beef is sealed using vacuum packaging systems designed to limit exposure and preserve freshness. Each package is labeled and logged, creating a digital record that links it back to its production batch. From there, products move into temperature-controlled cold storage, where conditions are monitored around the clock. Even brief deviations are flagged to protect quality and shelf life. Distribution schedules are planned to minimize holding time, allowing products to move efficiently through regional warehouses and transportation networks.
Inventory levels on aisle 4 are low.
Did the morning shipment arrive yet?
The Nevada load needs to leave by 1400 hours sharp.
Confirmed. Driver is already staged and ready for dispatch.
This system is built around continuity. From the factory floor to the supermarket shelf, every step is tracked, timed, and verified, ensuring the supply chain remains intact, predictable, and uninterrupted.
How do Arctic communities harvest a walrus to survive brutal winters? Can this ancient tradition withstand climate change? Hunting and butchering a giant walrus, Bloody Journey on the IC reveals the walrus harvesting process in Alaska and Nunavut, from hunt to cultural traditions. Approved by the Eskimo Walrus Commission and local hunters, this film uses 2025 data from the US Geological Survey and WWF to show a vital survival practice in America's Arctic. The film starts with preparation for the walrus harvest in Alaska's coastal villages. Families sharpen rifles and harpoons with ropes, tools honed over 2,000 years. Elders teach young hunters to target large adult male walruses for maximum meat and fat. The Eskimo Walrus Commission sets a sustainable harvest quota at 2.25% of the adult population to protect the species. A young apprentice shares his excitement and nerves before his first hunt. Hunters check ice conditions and weather, then use small motorized canoes to reach walrus herds on sea ice or shores. Next, the documentary shows the intense walrus harvest. Hunters approach quietly to avoid startling the herd, aiming for a bull over 1,000 pounds. They fire rifles and throw harpoons to secure the animal, using ropes to stop it from diving underwater. The harvest ends quickly to minimize suffering, following strict community rules. An elder explains how they watch water currents to avoid risks, as walruses can weigh a ton and charge with sharp tusks. Community-approved footage captures the real dangers of this step. After the harvest, the film details the harvesting and use of every walrus part. Processing starts on the ice or boat. With long knives cutting along the body. Thick skin is removed first for boats or shoes. Blubber is sliced into blocks for oil lamps or winter food reserves. The dark red meat, up to 1,000 pounds, feeds about 50 families and is shared equally. Women and children dry or salt meat, storing it in snow pits that keep it fresh for months. Bones become tools or building parts. Tendons turn into fishing lines, and tusks are carved into jewellery or strength symbols. This harvest process ensures no waste, supporting daily life. At night, families gather around lamps fueled by harvested walrus fat, eating stew from fresh meat. They share throat singing and stories of past harvests that saved villages in tough winters. A Thanksgiving ceremony follows each harvest, with offerings to the sea to honour the walrus. Young hunters see this as a step to adulthood, learning responsibility from elders. Families work together to process the harvest, passing skills to keep tradition strong. Modern challenges facing the harvest are addressed next. Climate change melts sea ice, pushing walruses onto crowded land haulouts, raising stampede and predator risks. WWF's 2025 reports note significant habitat loss, with NOAA stating the Arctic warms twice as fast as other regions. The US Geological Survey's June 2025 expedition updates population estimates, currently around 257,000 based on recent WWF data. Shipping and oil activities add pressure. A USGS scientist explains how scattered herds make harvesting harder. The Eskimo Walrus Commission emphasises self-regulated quotas and tags to balance subsistence with conservation. Communities clarify this is for food, not sport, while CITES regulates walrus ivory trade with permits to prevent overuse. The film ends with hope for harvesting's future. In 2025, young hunters will use drones in partnerships with scientists to track walruses better. Villagers hold feasts under the northern lights, relying on harvested walrus products. The narration highlights the strength of these traditions, like tusks carved into lasting tools. It urges viewers to visit wwf.ect/Arctic to support conservation. An elder concludes that the sea provides, and careful harvesting keeps the balance. For future generations. 9. This documentary explains the walrus harvesting cycle in clear terms. From preparation to the hunt, processing, cultural sharing, and facing modern challenges, it links each step to survival in Alaska's Arctic. Communities rely on this harvest for meat, fat, and materials, guided by sustainable rules from the Eskimo Walrus Commission. The film connects harvesting to community and respect for nature. With 2025 survey data showing stable populations if protections continue, it gives older viewers an engaging, straightforward look at how harvesting sustains life and culture in a changing world. Can machines process 1,000 sacred animals per hour while staying humane in India? This film explores cow meat harvesting from farm to export using AI, blockchain and lab-grown meat innovations by 2025. What makes this tech ethical? Will lab-grown options end traditional harvesting? The process starts at farms. Farmers equip animals with smart collars to track health and stress. These devices send real-time data to processors, ensuring only fit animals proceed. This step improves traceability and prevents illegal trade. Trucks transport cows to plants in states like Kerala. AI scanners check for illness using infrared and detect stress levels. Blockchain recs each animal's origin, creating a digital trail to meet halal standards. Does this tech make harvesting safer for workers and animals? Harvesting begins with stunning and bleeding. Plants use hugging machines inspired by Temple Grandin to calm cows with gentle pressure. Electric stunners knock them out in seconds, followed by laser-guided blades for precise bleeding. AI adjusts for each animal's size, minimizing pain and meeting ethical rules. Next, evisceration and skinning occur. Conveyor belts move the carcass, vacuum tools remove hides automatically. Robots sort organs for medical or food use, while cooling systems hit -40 DEC to preserve meat. This harvesting stage cuts waste and handles 1,000 animals hourly. Labs like CCMB grow cow cells in tanks as a no-harvest alternative. This could shift the industry away from traditional methods. Cutting and packaging follows smoothly. "3D scanners map the carcass for exact cuts, dividing it for Asian markets. Machines seal portions in vacuum bags with QR codes linked to blockchain, showing the harvesting history. Can QR codes ensure ethical harvesting for buyers? Cultural and legal challenges persist in harvesting. Over 20 states ban cow slaughter, and groups like Gal Rakshaks protest processing near sacred sites. In 2025, the Calcutta High Court banned public harvesting displays to honour traditions. Police report 699 cow slaughter cases and 1,000 Automation and ethics raise more issues. Machines replace 70% of skinning jobs with robot maintenance roles, leaving workers in low-pay tech positions. Critics argue no harvesting is truly humane. Special attention to cow protection is needed to stop smuggling and ensure respect, said Parwan Kalyan before Bakrid 2025. BGP MLAs claim 50,000 cows are illegally slaughtered daily, with funds misused. Their chemical tests detect illegal meat, but smuggling continues. Hugging machines and AI reduce suffering, and Yogi Adityanath's Bakrid rules ban cow sacrifice to ease tensions. Lab-grown meat offers a new path for harvesting alternatives. In 2025, BioCraft Foods launches 3D printed chicken at competitive prices. A 2024 survey shows 60% of Indians are open to lab-grown meat. Labs grow cells in bioreactors without animal death, aligning with Ahimsa's non-violence principle. Sex-sorted semen increases female calves, cutting male harvesting by 90%. Kerala plants test these methods. Buyers scan QR codes to verify products. As exports grow, India balances tradition and innovation. Should lab-grown meat replace traditional harvesting? Comment below with your thoughts. 9. This film shows India's harvesting uses AI, blockchain, and solar power for efficiency and ethics. From smart collars to final cuts, each step respects cultural values. Lab-grown meat in 2025 could end animal harvesting, meeting global demand while honouring tradition. The dark red meat, up to 1,000 pounds, feeds about 50 families and is shared equally. Women and children dry or salt meat, storing it in snow pits that keep it fresh for months. Bones become tools or building parts. Tendons turn into fishing lines, and tusks are carved into jewellery or strength symbols. This harvest process ensures no waste, supporting daily life. At night, families gather around lamps fueled by harvested walrus fat, eating stew from fresh meat. They share throat singing and stories of past harvests that saved villages in tough winters. A Thanksgiving ceremony follows each harvest, with offerings to the sea to honour the walrus. Young hunters see this as a step to adulthood, learning responsibility from elders. Families work together to process the harvest, passing skills to keep tradition strong.